Drones. This is the hot topic right now in December. You can't even turn the news on, social media, or anything without seeing videos of drones flying all over the United States. Everyone is questioning what they are, where they're coming from. Is this something that our own government's doing? Is this something that, is it a UFO? Is it something that another country is doing to spy on us? So you have so many different opinions and conspiracies floating around. But I wanted to share some information that I thought was pretty interesting. So if you go to FFA.gov, the official government website for this, you will find the FFA Reauthorization Act of 2018. And you'll notice that it basically limits our government's authority as to what they can do in our airspace. So it's a good thing. We want to limit them. We don't want to give them full power over everything. But there's something interesting. So this FFA Reauthorization Act actually lapses on December 20th, 2024. That is tomorrow. So I find it interesting that you have a ton of senators who are and have been trying to push for a new law to be put in place where it basically gives the government all authority and all power over the airspace. So in one of their exact words, he said they don't want to just control drones. He said, we want to destroy, disable anything in the air and intercept signals and communication. So the reason why I think this is alarming is because this isn't just drones at this point. When he's talking about, not just him, but a whole lot of them, are talking about signals and communication. Guys, this is talking about our entire lives. This is including our cell phones, our internet, personal internet, at home and what we're doing. So if they, with this lapse of this Reauthorization Act tomorrow, if this bill that they've been trying to get pushed through for the last year and a half, 2 years now, if it goes through the way that they're wanting, then we're not going to be in a good place. So, but the interesting thing is, the Bible actually tells us that in the very last days, when the Antichrist is coming on the scene, it tells us so many, hundreds of very, very, very specific things to watch out for and, to be on the lookout for and what's going to happen. But one of the major things that I think most people know is it talks about having a one world currency, having a monetary system, a one world government, and basically one power is going to be the main authority over the entire earth. So maybe not 100%, but the majority of it. So it basically says you're not going to be able to buy or sell or even interact in society without, receiving the infamous mark of the beast that everyone knows about, 666. So what I find interesting is in order for the Antichrist to come on scene, we have to have all these things in place. And right now we are just setting it up, to a T. We see all this AI, artificial intelligence. We see in the book of Daniel, the Old Testament, the prophet Daniel had mentioned in the last days, he says that iron will try to mix with clay, but it won't hold. So if some Bible scholars believe that this is literally transhumanism, which is what we're seeing with this AI. For instance, Neuralink, Elon Musk's Neuralink that is implanted in your brain, or the chips that you see that they're inserting in the backs of hands, or you can swallow a pill and then the acids in your stomach will actually open up this pill and it will be in your bloodstream and you can take one a day and basically your entire body will be some sort of, I don't know if it's a magnet or what it is, but you can, unlock doors and all sorts of stuff with your own body parts. So we see all these things happening. We see the one world currency is that's going to happen sooner than later because everything is going digital. So, but the Bible is even much more specific than just this. I oftentimes have posted a lot about the fig tree prophecy in the book of Matthew, and that essentially tells us, 2,500 years ago, almost 3,000 years ago, we were told that in the very last days, we would know it's the last days because, for one, it says the fig tree, when it blooms, you'll know that the end is near. Now, when you read on, you realize that the fig tree is Israel. Well, before 1948, when Israel actually did become a nation, that seemed absolutely impossible. I mean, that was not even remotely possible. And yet it happened. So that prophecy tells us that the people born in 1948 will live to see the Son of Man coming, which is Jesus. So those people right now are, 78 years old, I guess? So 77, 78. So if you consider that, you can also look back in, I don't know if it's Genesis or Psalms, that tells us the years of a man. And it said, and it might be both. And it says that we know how long people live because the life expectancy is 70 years old, and it's 80 if you're blessed. So any older than that, it's just a blessing. And so we know that everyone born in 1948 is almost 80 years old at this point. So if you look at Bible prophecy and you see all these things, we can clearly add this up. We see everything happening. We see the prophecy in Ezekiel 38 and 39 happening to a T. It says there's 10 nations that will rise against Israel, and it tells us the exact 10 nations. It says everything that's happening as of, it started on October 7th of 2023, and we see it continue now, and slowly but surely, these 10 nations are all coming against Israel. We have Russia. We have China that's starting to get involved. We have Iran. We have Turkey. We have, Kush put, I can't think, Libya is one of them. You have to take the old names and put them into what we call it today. Like the Bible calls Iran Persia. Well, we know that we changed it to Iran, somewhat recently, So this is things that you may not, when you're reading the Bible, you may not recognize it right away, but when you continue reading the Bible, it gives you landmarks. So that's how we know what it is today. So historical documents will tell us, what it used to be called 2,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago because of this river or this mountain range or whatever it is. And so we know the exact land. And the Bible is just incredible. You just have to dig a little bit and you have to pray. And God just reveals so much information. And you can literally open a Bible and you will find more information in this Bible than you will find on any news channel or in any history book or by any philosopher or, Albert Einstein or whatever you want to say, Elon Musk. You will find more information and more 100% accurate information in that Bible than any news channel. And guys, Jesus is coming. Everything that we were told will happen is happening in the exact order that God told us it would happen in. So for Christians, this is super exciting. And the difference between Christianity and any other religion is no other religion tells you prophecy. So what's going to happen before it happens? And without any inaccuracies. It is 100% accurate. And you can compare any historical document. You have people say, oh, well, this translation and this translation. That's irrelevant because, just like in Spanish, we have certain words, like they have a certain word that means, one word might mean 3 or 4 different things. And in English, we have 3 or 4 different meanings for each different word. We don't have just one word that means 500 things. So when you translate things, it's not going to be exact. However, the meaning doesn't change. So, and then the other thing is, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew. And do you know that you can have a Hebrew child born in, let's say, 2005. So 15, 16-year-old kid, Hebrew child, can walk into a museum today and he can see an artifact that's 2,500 years old, if it is written in Hebrew, he can read it because Hebrew has never changed. It is the only language, one of the only languages that has never changed over time. So even a child can read it today. So anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Drones, I do not believe these are UFOs. I do not believe any of that. I believe, especially with this information, with the FAA Reauthorization Act expiring tomorrow, I absolutely believe that this is just kind of our, I don't know, I don't want to say government setup, but it's just to get us to be more apt to accepting this new law that they're wanting to push, which gives our government more power over us, which also has to happen for the Antichrist to come. So anyway, and it's coming. If you haven't seen the news, we also know in the last days that the Antichrist will be there, and he will also have a false prophet. The false prophet unites the world in a one world religion. 20 years ago, you would have never, ever guessed that the Pope and Muslims would be coming together. They are so opposite. Typically, they hate one another. And yet, we literally see the Pope in 2024, in December of 2024, he is wrapping baby Jesus in one of the nativity scenes, in the manger scene. He has him wrapped in a Muslim headscarf. So they're essentially slowly but surely accepting one another. This is all biblical. This is all coming together just as the Bible said. Every day it's something new. Another prophecy is happening, and we're literally at full speed right now. This is incredible. For Christians, this is super exciting times. This is incredible. It's so amazing. But if you're not a Christian, pick up a Bible. I really, really, really strongly encourage you, pick up a Bible. You don't want to be left behind, because what's about to happen is there's going to be a lot of Holy Spirit-filled Christians that suddenly disappear from this earth. And what you're going to hear from those who are left is, the aliens abducted them, or there's going to be something that comes out. And in all reality, nobody abducted us. We're literally up in heaven celebrating at a marriage feast with Jesus. So I strongly encourage you, open a Bible, get to know who Jesus is, because the time is almost out. Have a good night.